Aloha interwebs, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to bring you the second half of the LFR to the video I did last week for the Mogushon Vaults. This is the Vault of Mysteries. So it's just the second half of the first LFR encounter, the raid encounter that you can get into. I'll put that video around here somewhere. I did do a little bit of research on this. I watched a video from Nash, from Big Nash Gaming. I'll put his link on here somewhere. And he said that this was going to be a little bit more difficult, so I thought I should pay attention to the fights a little bit more. This is actually the last boss of the Spirit Kings. I'm doing this kind of out of order. You'll see the other videos start to pop up of the other bosses. This is basically like a council type of thing. You fight a boss, kill a boss, fight a boss, kill a boss, fight a boss, kill a boss, and then the final boss comes up. There's 4 of them, and they're all fairly basic tank and spank encounters and rinse and repeat situations. It's a lot of don't stand in things, don't stand in front of the boss, and if you get hit by something, help your buddies get broken out of it so they don't get hit by something else. Fairly basic mechanics. It's just the fact that it seems like it took forever because there are actually 4 bosses in this council type of thing, and you got to kill one, the next one pops right up, and they're all, like I said, they're all fairly basic tank and spank situations with some extra added mechanics that you're not supposed to stand in or stand near, so you just kind of have to pay attention. I kind of wanted to test myself, so I didn't want to do too much in-depth research on what the bosses did, but just from watching Nash's the beginning of Nash's video, it seemed like I should probably do a little bit of, thinking just in case, I didn't want to be too embarrassed making this video. But for the most part, I just didn't stand in stuff, which I usually normally stand in stuff. Try to follow the bosses. I'm pretty sure if you're watching the main screen, the bosses running around, I'm pretty sure the tank lost aggro or something like that. I wasn't really paying attention to the chat, and I think at some point they were yelling at the tank for some sort of fail, but I was standing behind the boss, trying not to stand in things, and on the volley boss, I didn't, I guess if you get hit by the arrows, you're supposed to break your people out of there so they don't continually get rammed by other things, but I wasn't doing that, so if anybody died because I wasn't helping break things out, I'm sorry about that. The Celestial Dragon boss, now I'm not gonna lie, we did, this group that I was in, we did wipe. So like I said, I personally didn't really know what was going on in this boss. I was like, I'll just follow the group, and hopefully the group knows what's going on. And yeah, nobody really knew what was going on. At one point, you were supposed to run away from the boss or kill some sparks, which I didn't really get on board with. And then the floor disappears. I didn't know the floor disappeared, so the floor goes away and you fall to your death, and that happened to me at about, I think about half of the raid. So yeah, after the people who didn't die to the floor disappearing made fun of the rest of us who did die, we actually got back together, went in there, and after a quick explanation of the mechanics from the tank, everyone was able to kind of figure it out. And I'm just kind of running around here because I guess I misunderstood the killing of the sparks things. But basically, it's a tank and spank for the tank, for the boss. You take the boss in the middle of the room, everybody does their DPS thing. There are sparks that go to these pillars, and you're supposed to kill the sparks before they get to the pillar, and I think that adds a debuff onto the boss that makes him accept more damage. So the more of these sparks that you kill, the faster you kill the boss. And then the pillars will actually pop up, the boss will go away, the floor drops off, and then you have to destroy the pillars. There isn't really a specific order in the LFR, just wherever you happen to be standing, you have to kill that pillar, And then once the pillar goes away, the boss comes back. So you have boss, sparks, pillars, boss. Boss, sparks, pillars, boss. And be on the outer rim when the pillars come up because the floor disappears. Learned that one the hard way, interwebs. But yeah, so it's a basic rinse and repeat situation, but if you don't know the situation, basically you die. That's what I did. So yeah, that was fail. But once I figured it out, you know, it really wasn't that hard. I didn't want to be total fail on the second attempt, so I was at least trying to. There's ads too. I don't know where these ads came from, to be honest with you. They didn't pop up where I was at. People were fighting them, so I decided to throw in a hand and kill some ads. And then the boss came back, and I really wasn't paying attention to ads. I'm sure that all of those mechanics in the regular 10-man or a regular 25-man, those things have to be paid attention to, as far as like getting the sparks down and killing the pillars, and if wherever the hell those ads came from, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to pay attention to that. But since that's not really a priority for the LFR, as far as getting people on the same page, I'm sure it would have been easier if everybody knew like which spark to kill first, or to assign people to groups and things like that, and you know, decide which pecking order you're going to take out the pillars. But in the LFR, man, nobody's gonna organize that. So hopefully everybody has at least an idea of what's going on, not like me, and you're at least standing in the right spot when the floor disappears. Really, people, I'm serious. The floor disappears. You have to know that. This in this boss, this is the will of the Emperor, and it's long. It's super long, so we're gonna skip the middle of this, but it's a fairly basic, also basic fight when it comes to the mechanics. It's basically boss ads, boss ads, boss ads. And you start off with a series of ads, and they kind of set you up for the pattern. There's 2 small ads and then a big ad, and then a bigger ad that has a big purple shield that you're supposed to stop, and then that's this guy. You don't stand in front of him, that's what the shield is for, and you get behind him, you kill him, and then you move on to the next ad. The 2 bosses will spawn at the front end of the rooms, and the tanks will take it separately from each other, and that's basically the fight. It's boss ads, boss ads, boss ads. But there's a series of ads that you really do need to make sure are down before they start overwhelming the entire raid. So tanks will tank the bosses. The DBS would kill the ads and then get on the bosses. And I'm sure, again, I didn't do too much homework on this particular subject of split bosses. I'm sure they share damage, and I'm guessing that maybe one boss is probably more geared towards having your melee attack it, and the other boss is more geared towards having your range attack it. I was just kind of going whichever one was close to me when I killed whatever ad I was working on, and maybe that wasn't the best tactic. But in the LFR, you know, I didn't really, there wasn't anybody yelling at anyone else to say, you know, get on this boss. There wasn't really any markers. I think people were just kind of going for whatever was in reach. So I'm sure that's not the best tactic, but it's the one that I was going with. I know a lot of what happens inside this particular fight. The medium-sized ad does a stun, as well as the bosses. The bosses also stun, and there's also some AoEs and some directional stuff. Like, you're not supposed to stand in front of the guy with a big purple shield. I'm pretty sure that hurts. I don't know if it'll kill you, because I didn't actually stand in front of him, but I'm pretty sure it hurts. So all of the stunning effects that some of the other ads and the bosses do will probably affect whether or not you end up standing in front of the purple shield. You can see the bosses are doing some kind of like ground AoE cleaving type of thing. So if you're stunned, which happens to me actually a bit, because we somehow lose track of like the ads. They get tanked by the bosses and get stunned standing in there in the AoE from the bosses, because you're trying to kill the ads that are standing too close to the boss, things like that. No, I don't think we had any major deaths from that situation, but I know I wasn't the only one getting stunned standing next to a boss, so I think probably the damage is manageable, but I'm not a healer, so I don't know how but that's just my opinion. Healers could be cursing the screen for all the people standing in the AoE, but you know, I get stunned a couple times standing next to a boss and then getting AoE. But other than the fact that it was a really long fight, I think pretty much it went down the way it was supposed to go down. I think at least 90% of the raid was still alive when the bosses died, and you know, we didn't wipe, so that's a win in the LFR, right? So overall, the second half of this experience was of the first LFR raid you can get into. I thought it was pretty cool. Again, the mechanics were fairly basic, but that also allows you to you know, concentrate on other things like maximizing your DPS or learning the fights better, learning where to stand, things like that. So the mechanics were fairly easy, you know. Kill ads, kill boss, don't stand and crap on the floor. They were just really long, so you just have to be able to, you know, put the time into it, because it's going to take you a minute. Anyways, thanks for stopping by the channel on Later Webs. I appreciate you coming by. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your week. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you guys at the next video.